All right, this is Pops, and yes, I've been rewatching Star Trek original series, giving you some real reaction thoughts and different insights that I have. Not being a Trekkie, and definitely not watching original series or being nuanced in the Trek lore, and giving you sort of like those real reactions, if you will, in some ways. And this week is Charlie X, and this one was a fun one because I sort of remember this, and yet at the same time, rewatching it, there were just a ton of moments that I didn't remember. So I think I remember Charlie. I think it's Robert Walker's a very memorable character and performance. The concept and those kinds of things were very memorable, very striking. Of course, anything with Yeoman Rand's going to be memorable in some ways because I mean, obviously, she's a impactful lady, shall we say? An interesting nuance for the time in this episode. Like it's sort of an episode that's a creature of its time. You understand about child rearing in the 60s, rebellious teens, dealing with some of those different conversations, obviously Captain Kirk and the father figure type role, as well as the back and forth, really, was interesting because there really wasn't any real back and forth that got anywhere between Spock and McCoy. Like you would think there would have been like a Vulcan proverb, or there would have been McCoy having some sort of like pop psychology book or something from the 20th century or making references. But no, none of that kind of happened. It was more like, hey, just get out there and figure it out there, Jim, which is kind of an interesting metaphor for parenting because that is how many of us feel going through this. So the episode basically is teenage angst, teenage immaturity, teenage puberty, all of the different things that you expect. He's angry, doesn't get his way. He only likes when people are nice to him. He's obviously physically attracted to Yeoman Rand. He lashes out over and over again. Kirk and he try to bond in some ways, and yet other ways, it's just not ever going to happen. It's just the kid would turn on Kirk in a moment's notice if he could, but he doesn't. Uhura singing was kind of fun with Spock, but it's interesting that when it turns um, against Charlie, that's not so much fun. But reality is, I think overall, it's a fun little show. It's a fine show. I think that it was good to see all the different characters having some time and showing some different things. But yeah, this singing element was really, really fun but again, of course, like I said, it turns a little dark because he doesn't get, when she turns the attention to Charlie has no sense of humor. Charlie cannot take himself light at all. He cannot be the butt of the joke. Really, to be honest, this really does very well showcase a teen boy. I don't remember the show enough to have a frame of reference to my own life or maybe raising boys and things like that, but I can tell you the way Charlie acts, the way he lashes out, the way he can't laugh at himself, the way he has sort of like an infatuated lust for Yeoman Rand, all these different type of things that they do really, really well in this show, really do well, point to that. So of course Charlie lashes out, wishes for her to lose her voice. Obviously, there's a quick scene where they're learning some sort of like a taekwondo wrestling moves with Kirk, and of course Sam is there, and Sam laughs at Charlie, and so Charlie just blinks him out of existence, and that's sort of like the big reveal to Kirk, even though the audience knows the big reveal to Kirk that this is a very dangerous figure, very very dangerous character. Oh, they make Spock sing at one point, which was done for levity, which I don't know, it kind of works. It's okay. It's nice that it's all out of character. This was the chess game, and then of course Charlie loses immediately because he thinks he knows how to play. Of course, Spock beats him in like one move, and he just melts the pieces. An introduction of Tina, and let's just say Tina's not around long. They blink Tina out too. So the show actually does a lot in the time allotted with showing all sorts of different emotions and caricature flaws and different things that happen. Again, we have to have shirtless Kirk. It's always funny to me. Two guys in red and they're not going to let themselves be hurt. Those kinds of things. So I think at one point I didn't do a lot of research on this, but I thought one was like the day that Charlie become a god, which is a great way to describe the episode. And I got to be honest, I know sometimes there are thoughts or conversations about plot ideas, like the way they use Khan. They bring Khan back from an original series episode for the great classic movie, The Wrath of Khan. Charlie still being out there is kind of an interesting concept to me. The idea that you could have him grow up, maybe he still has the powers, but he has some control, but he could still be lashing out for some reason. I don't know. It's just like one of those interesting premises. It doesn't appear to be something that has in both people's mind's eye. So I think all of this is great. I think it was really done well to try to deal with. Like there literally are just like everything you can think of, whether it be an argument, direct confirmation, passive confrontation, physical assault, anything you could think of to try to get this teen under control, and you can't. And again, going back to my own life and my boys, sometimes you feel like that. You feel like no matter what you do, you cannot figure this out. You can't come up with a good solution. He's his own worst enemy, and in many ways, that's kind of how the episode plays out. He's cruel. Here he turns a young, beautiful lady into this old lady. She starts screaming, and they're just basically he's taking control of the ship, and that's what the big fight over at the end of the episode. It's a battle over the ship before you get to this. And I have to be honest, this is the part that I remembered the least. I did not have any memory at all of this, where this alien comes in, the Thasians, which is the beings that basically have taken Charlie in. And while he has powers, he has this sort of like alien ability. He has not had any human upbringing. He doesn't know any control. And of course, Kirk argues, "Oh, listen, we can take care of him. We'll train him up right. We'll do whatever." And of course, as Charlie has blipped away, it's like, "I want to stay." He's gone. He's gone. I will say though, it was fine that they bring Yeoman Rand back, but it was interesting that I don't think we have a oh, her is back there too. I guess she can speak. So in theory, I guess once Charlie is taken away, then everything else is there's the I want to stay. Everything else is sort of restored and all back to normal. So I don't know how does this episode kind of rank in the lore for you guys out there who know this better than me. I actually think it's a very solid episode. It's not like something that's like totally my speed. I want to sit and watch again. It felt heavier for me, but again, I think it's the teen angst, teen drama stuff. I mean, in more modern times, this has become sort of like so overdone and over dramatized and over explored and all of that. It's not something that resonates well with me today, but I can say it in its time and in its day when it was made, it had to have carried some weight, had to be pretty good. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention it, but there was the great sort of moment early on where I believe because he smacks Yeoman Rand on the behind and doesn't know what he's done wrong. And it's funny how awkward Kirk makes it, like not knowing what to say. And I thought that was really funny. Like it's like just telling anybody like that. But the fact that Kirk doesn't quite know his way and know exactly how to handle it, I thought was actually good for Kirk's character as well. So anyway, this is all my take on it. I'd love to hear from you guys. Hopefully get back. Hopefully I'll be getting back on board and catching up with these. I appreciate all the feedback that you guys have been giving me. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I am Pops.